Welcome to the Retro Game Analysis channel. This is just a little video about an idea I had when I was thinking about the infamous Nintendo 64 analog stick problem. As you probably know, the innovative analog stick that Nintendo brought with the Nintendo 64, while it revolutionized how we play video games, it had a major flaw. That flaw is that the analog stick wears out extremely fast, especially when you play certain games like the Mario Party series. The problem is that the stick has a bowl made of plastic under it. As you play your games, the stick tip rubs that bowl, and the friction starts to wear the bottom of the bowl. The deeper the bowl gets, the stick tips start to lose contact with it, becoming more and more flimsy. If you ever opened your controller, you probably saw that the bowl has a white dust inside of it. That dust is the plastic of the bowl that was worn out. Now, it's not a problem that nobody addressed. Actually, there are very good solutions on the market. The best one I tested is the analog stick from 8-Bit Do. It's a modern analog and totally attained my expectations. There's others like the Retro Fighter controller, Hori controllers, etc. But these controllers, while they don't wear out, at least as easily as the original controller, they really don't feel like the real one. And the original stick simply feels different, more precise, it has a different resistance, etc. So a lot of people got to work and developed solutions based on the original mechanism. The best one we know is the famous steel Stick 64. It's basically a stick and a bowl made of very polished steel. That guarantees that your bowl will never wear out. But there's a catch: it's a homemade product that demands big efforts and time to be done. Which means that the creator of the product can't attend the demand at all. If you want to put your hands in one of these, you need to sign up to receive an email to advise you when a new batch is done. Believe me, it's super hard to get one, and while it's definitely the best solution, it's not easy to produce and it's certainly not cheap. Now, we get to the point of this video. While pondering about the main problem, I realized that, instead of making the stick and bowl more resistant, what if we can eliminate the friction itself? And I immediately thought of ball pens. What if we use the principle of a ball pen in the stick? A rolling ball would eliminate most of the friction. Right after the insight I started to looking for little balls at $1 stores. Found some. After that, I grabbed my worst Nintendo 64 controllers and started to mod their sticks with my Dremel. Now, I need to be clear, I'm not producing it. Because it's manually made, my results weren't the best ones. Different old bowls has different levels of abrasion, so I had to Dremel the stick continuously until it got the right size, and in the end, the two controllers I modded had different, not perfect results. My plan here is just to show this approach. Maybe someone that can mass produce, 3D print it, can give it a try, and refine the idea. If you can produce the bowl, the stick and the little ball with the correct size, you don't need to make adjustments to every different stick. Now, the idea can have some problems like, do the ball really roll when you're pressing the stick against it? Do the wearing really stops? Maybe it would be better to use steel balls instead of plastic ones? Do the feeling of the controller change, so it isn't really a solution for purists? There's some questions that need to be addressed. And that's it. I'll let you see the idea in action, as I filmed the second controller I modded. If you like this approach, and has the ways to put in practice, let me know in the comments. See you in the next video, bye.